everyone, this is Paul the Oaken Knight, coming to you today with an unboxing of Volume 1 of Old School Tactical, published by Flying Pig Games and designed by Shane Logan. Now this one in particular is the second edition of this title, so I don't know what's changed between Volume 1 and Volume 2, but I just want to show you what's in this particular box to let you take a look. In addition, I picked up Red Bliitz, also by the same gentleman, also published by Flying Pig Games, and something about OST Pockets Jamworks Inc. So it looks like this is a cooperation between a couple companies. Parental advisory, awesome content. Well, we'll find that out in a second. All right, so let's take a look at the reverse of the box. And the reverse of the box has nothing too surprising. It's giving you the contents of the box, 2 players, so this is designed as 2-player game, that's fine. 45 minutes to 5 hours, so I think there's probably some campaigns in there to go 5 hours. This is just a tactical game, so I would not expect a huge playing time. And, well, this has got a nice winter scene. All right, let's take a look at what's inside the box. And I've already taken off the cellophane, so I didn't have to arm wrestle with that. I did skim through the rules a bit, so I have an idea of what things are. At the start of each game, each side gets one of these random cards that they can use during the game. It's just a resource that's available to them. Not exactly solitaire friendly, because obviously that's hidden information. I have a feeling that you could use that or not use that, or come up with some kind of die roll system to have one of the cards show up rather than have it be known. Frankly, that's probably what I will do. Roll a d10, on a 10, you get a card. Something like that. These second cards are basically unit cards, giving you range and firepower. Okay. For any particular unit in the game. So in this case, it's the anti-tank rifles. Looks like maybe the Russian ones. And that's about it. So I guess you don't have to look at the units if you got this. What else we got? Okay, well, here's just another example. A BA-10, 45 millimeter, 220K. Not sure what that is. Looks like some kind of armored car with maybe a turret on it. And statistics on that. So I have a feeling this can be used instead of squinting at the counter. Movement gives the firepower effect for a high explosive, secondary armament, armor for front and flank, range table, wheeled, it's a wheeled vehicle, and no riders. Fine. So let's give me all the basics about that. So that's kind of cool. You have a particular unit in the game, you set the card on the side, and from that point on you have all of the information you need for that unit. Dice, okay. I always break up my Chessex dice. I like those kind. I usually never even use the ones that come with the game. We got 2 tables, infantry combat and vehicle combat. And what does it identify what these results are? Let's see. I see CBS something. Not sure what that is. Nope, I don't see it. It doesn't identify what those symbols mean. Let's see. Terrain effects. I assume this is kind of normal. Kind of normal. Here's okay for artillery drift. That's an interesting thing. Mortars, guns, and rockets with that looks like they're scatter rolls. I did read that vehicles can get bogged down depending on what kind of terrain they are, what they are, and what terrain they're going into. So there's that, airstrikes, rally modifiers. Okay, it's a tactical game. All the usual suspects are here. That other one was a duplicate table. This is, let's go look at this first. This is the playbook. And it's just got a whole bunch of scenarios. Lots of scenarios. There's only 2 maps in the game, but they're big. And so I think what they do is they tell you which portion of that map you're actually using. Yeah, map coordinates. I'm guessing this is the corners that you actually are using. You're not using the entire map on every scenario, although you probably are on some. And this has got 27 scenarios in it, with some on map 1, some on map 2. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Credits. Okay. This is the rulebook. And let's see, how big is this thing? How big is this puppy? I'm looking for, okay, well, it's got an index. There's extra points right there. It looks like 23 pages of rules. And a table of contents. So this thing's got both of my pet peeves covered. Now, one thing I did notice is that the text is it's not bad. I can read this without a whole lot of problem. But oh boy, look at how much they packed every page. They really kind of cheated on the margins a tad. So these things go like right to the edge of the paper. It's even down here, almost laid on top of the page number. Again, that's not a big deal, but it just tells you that this is a very full book of rules. So if it's 23 pages, was it? It's a very full 23 pages. Counters. Nice big honking counters. They look like, ooh, at least 3/4 inch. At least that. Gee, maybe full inch? Hang on. Did a quick measurement. It looks like these are 7/8 of an inch. So very beefy, chunky, beautifully printed counters. So these are the Soviets. And now this particular box concentrates on the early part of the war, although I did see some Mark V's in there, so that's not exclusively the case. But this game is focusing on the early part of the war, kind of like Awakening the Bear, which also focused on the early part of the war. What are these red ones? Oh, guards, of course. Looks like leaders. And oh, by the way, these counters, they come out of the sprue just like nothing. So I'll probably have a couple fall out. But that means you're not going to have issues with having to cut them out and trim the corners and all of that stuff. That is like zero effort. Okay, here we have trucks and various other things to move people. And ooh, there's a Tiger too. Panzerkampfwagen 6. Okay, so this definitely has more than just early war stuff in it, even though the box kind of says 41, 42. They've got more advanced equipment in here as well, which we appreciate. And then this one looks like it's German infantry. And just nicely done. It's very easy to read these counters. 7/8 of an inch, and oh boy, I gotta be careful. They want to jump out. So easy to punch these out. I'm going to have to do that pretty soon. I don't want to lose anything. And then, looks like utility counters. Utility counters of various types. And very nicely done. Of course, everything's two-sided. Everything's two-sided. The counters, they have half strength on the reverse. So it's not a morale state thing, it's a casualty thing. All right, now see the maps. Let me set that up just a little bit. The game provides 2 maps, both of which are nicely big, and I see tracks to track various things during the game, probably initiative, impulse points. So okay, so this is going to be an impulse-based game, which is good for tactical. And I'm not sure what the other stuff is. Oh, I see victory. It says victory points, enemy casualties. All right, so you have casualties and victory points you're tracking. Now, my thought on this map is that I think it's a little darker than they probably intended it to be. It's almost kind of like a Twilight look to it. I'm not sure why that is. Certainly it's stylistic. It could be something the printer did. I think, yes, you can read it. You can follow it. I mean, I'm looking down on it. I can make out the different terrain types, but in some cases it's just not as easy as it should be. And I wanted to contrast that. This is a map from Awakening the Bear, so you can see a big difference between the 2 maps in terms of colors and how easy and or hard it is to make out the various features. Personally, I like what I see in Awakening the Bear better. I like being able to see the terrain. It looks, really nice. On this one, it also looks very nice, except that it's kind of dark. Like I say, I'm guessing that they didn't quite get what they intended to get from the printer. But it is playable. There's no doubt about that. Let me show you the winter map. And here is the winter map, and you can clearly see that there is no dark problem with this map. It's perfectly fine. It's actually a beautiful sort of winter scene. It's got all the same tracks on there for impulse points, turn number, what else? Enemy casualties, victory points, all of that is the same. Because it's, it's the same game. So you have one summer map that's looks like kind of like a twilight map, and then you've got a very nice winter map. And just to give you a little view of what things might look like on the map, here we have a Soviet tank and an infantry unit, along with a German tank and an infantry unit, along with a Panzerfaust, so that you can see what that looks like. The infantry actually is slightly smaller than the tanks as far as physical size. The tanks are 7/8 of an inch, and all the infantry and support weapons and things are 3/4 of an inch, which is absolutely ample. So, I mean, this is, like say, a T-34-85. That is a Panther, a Panzer V, and various types of infantry. And for armored units, we see that the reverse side has the rec counters built in, and the reverse of the infantry is simply half-strength infantry. So that's what this looks like. So that is old school tactical. But I also got the Ladder War module. As I said, I also picked up Red Bliitz, and it is some kind of joint effort between Jamworks Inc. and Flying Pig. It has a number 2 on the side, so I guess the first one was volume 1. Maybe this is saying it's volume 2. The version number of 1.22 tells me that it might be older, but I think it's going to use the rules from the second edition just fine. Otherwise, why would they sell this to me? All right, let's take a look at the back. And here is Red Bliitz on the back. Again, same kind of 2-player game, 45 minutes to 4 hours. This has 6 scenarios, standalone scenarios, plus a 4-scenario link campaign, so a total of 10 scenarios. Using equipment from the latter part of the war, is talking about Operation Bagration, that started June 22nd, 1944, actually the anniversary of Operation Barbarossa. So a little payback from the Russians as they go and capture everything going up to Warsaw. All right, let's take a look at what the inside is. And just as the main part of the game, Volume 1, these are unit cards. So this is a card for Panzerkampfwagen 5. With all its various statistics. You know, if you translated these from hexes to inches, you probably could play this as a miniatures game. Maybe that's what this is for. Okay. And it's got a playbook with the scenarios, as I mentioned. It's got 6 scenarios plus 4 linked together into a single mini campaign. So it looks real interesting. And the scenarios have the same look as in the main part of the game. All good. The maps. Now when I compared the two, I got the snow map out. Okay, let me put the snow map away, and I can compare these maps to the main map you get in the reprint version. So here's one of the maps that's included in Red Bliitz. There's 4 of these, I believe, and they are back printed with snow scenes. So you've actually got 8 of them, I guess. And as you can see, it's slightly different in the printing. This is definitely a little bit lighter. These are not mounted maps, so you're going to need your plexiglass for these. Here's the reverse. Nice snow scene, no problems. And just to show you how easy these counters are to punch out, it came like this. They're all kind of jumping out. So I don't think there's any problems with missing counters. This thing was all cellophane wrapped and everything. I think everything, if I check it out, I don't expect to have any problems at all. So anyway, that is what Red Bliitz looks like. It's basically a box with extra maps, extra units, extra scenarios, so that you can play even more than 27 scenarios in your game. So, all right. This has been an unboxing of the second edition of Old School Tactical Eastern Front Combat. The main part in 41-42, the add-on brings you up to Operation the Great in 1944. If you have not yet subscribed, I'd encourage you to go ahead and do so to keep up to speed with what we're doing here. But for now, this is Paul the Okanite, simply wishing you all a pleasant evening.